You are now listening to the voice of horror.
Lock your doors, bolt your windows, and turn off the lights. Make sure the kids are safe at home, cause you're headed to the Nightwatch Zone. Nightwatch
Zone. Let's get down to brass tacks.
We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
It's showtime!
Yo, what's up? We're ready to rock Thursday night in the Kill Zone. Killjoy Jake is with me, and we're ready to rock. What's going on, my friend?
I'm just feeling really inspired right now by all those quotes that we saw at the beginning, especially from our friend Fate Decided, about how much he loves Halloween Kills. Nothing inspires me to talk about horror movies more than hearing that from him.
Oh my God, that's funny you saw that. Yeah, he's the best. We can have so much fun with him because he's just that cool. He really is.
When's the next time you're hosting the Lethal Collective? Because you need to have that as the intro. That's too funny.
It's supposed to be Monday, right? Is it? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know if you were next or not. I wasn't 100%.
Yeah, because we were just on yours, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's me. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
I should do that just to see what he's saying.
Just be like, okay, we're going to do the intro, guys, and then play that one. And then he'll just be like, oh, what? None of you say anything in the chat. Shh. It's our little secret.
Right. It's the ultimate, guess what, Fate? No, I love them. You know that. We love them. So tonight, guys, we're just ready to hang out, and we're talking some Scream 7 stuff, of course. Theories, throw them out in the chat. We'll try to get to as many as we can. Obviously, super chats will go to the head of the line. And more importantly, Jake, something that was on my mind was talking about, will Scream be able to learn from Halloween? Learn from the mistakes, learn from the successful things that they were able to do. I know we've already had 5 and 6, but with 7 coming very soon, 8 already being greenlit, and you would assume, and I could be wrong, but you assume that maybe there would be a 9th one to have that 3-movie arc. But either way, I think there's some things that we can learn from what Gordon Green did with that trilogy. So I wanted to talk to you about that as well. Real quick in the chat, thank you guys for being here. We appreciate you so much. We see all of you guys. We got Erica, Lindsay, and William, Kelly. We got Val in the house. We've got Sarah's in the house. May's in the house. All of you guys, thank you so much. And I also wanted to say, and I just made this decision right now, Jake. We talked about this earlier. I just wanted to say, and we have a lot of folks from different communities, different horror communities, and we're all connected in one way or the other. And I just wanted to say, I feel as though all of us, we lean on each other. We're inspired by each other. I mean, hell, I've been so inspired by Jake, the different things that he's been able to do, and what he's accomplished, the way he handles himself, his integrity, his fun, the way he does things. And I really appreciate him as well as others. But I want to also say, I think that we should all understand that there's a level of professional courtesy as well. And especially when we talk about folks that start something and make it something popular or something fun, and it's easy to kind of sometimes forget that, but I just feel as though we should always be kind of aware of that, especially if you know about it. There are folks, including Jake, including myself, and so many of us on YouTube that have spent a long time working, for whatever success we get, whatever that means. It could mean you have a couple people watching you. It could mean that you're like our friends, Zach Cherry or Podcast Now or Lee from Drum Dums, having hundreds of folks watching you. So I just wanted to put that out there in the community, because I know that a lot of content creators, I'm close to a lot of content creators. I watch a lot of content creators, and I know you do as well, Jake. And I know they watch us, but we want to be respectful. I just want to put that out there. How they say sometimes you put certain energy out there and you hope that it can really be absorbed by people in a positive way. So I just wanted to put that out there, guys.
Yeah, I think it's important that we all just respect each other. We're all kind of I know we're all talking about the same stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. We're all fans. No one's claiming a franchise or something like that. That's crazy. But I do feel like we have to find our own unique personalities through this and put off our own vibe. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I think that's the level of respect, is when you're just ripping that away from somebody else. We gotta find our own path, our own unique things to say and do. Let's make sure we're all doing that. That's all.
Hell yeah. Well said, man. I couldn't have said it any better. So Jake, let's start this thing off, man. When you think of these two franchises, they're so interconnected. I mean, like, for real. We've seen each franchise be featured in the other. We've seen Halloween H2O literally have like Scream-esque vibes all throughout it. And I'm not just talking about the music. I'm even talking about how Michael attacked, in certain scenes. You guys know what I'm talking about. So with these franchises so interconnected, first of all, what are some of the similarities that interest you, that you like to talk about? And what are some of the things, especially with Scream 7, that you're kind of seeing that they're paralleling from Halloween?
Well, I mean, going all the way back to the original, obviously Scream has always kind of had like this counterbalance with that franchise, like kind of saying like, well, Laurie did this, so we're gonna have our final girl like kind of. It's almost in a way saying, hey, our final girl is better because she did this and was still able to overcome in a way.
Hmm.
They lay out the rules, they break them, and then they find a way to push past them. I think that's kind of what Scream has always done since the original, and now we're seeing that again here in the Scream 7 trailer. But with a new era of both franchises. We have Scream having this resurrection while Halloween has also gone through the same thing. But it's already kind of come and passed. So a lot of people have varying opinions on it. We've had a few years now to stew on it, and kind of think about like where that trilogy ultimately went. And there's so many elements to this new Scream movie that are kind of just hitting on that David Gordon Green trilogy. I mean, where the house is burning down at the beginning. I mean, that's just like how it looks, just like Halloween Kills. It looks exactly the same. And because it's Scream, we know that's going to be meta references to that franchise. We know it's going to be building off of what David Gordon Green set up. That's one thing, but there's a ton of other stuff that I'm sure we're going to dive into tonight. So what do I think this is all? What's the purpose of all of this? I feel like, yes, a little bit of meta commentary, but also Scream always finds a new way, a new direction to go with it. Just like Sidney Prescott in the original. She's not the exact same character as Laurie Strode. So I wouldn't expect the exact same results of that trilogy, but rather a commentary on it. You know what I mean? In its own unique, screamy way. But I guess the question now is, what is it that Scream dislikes about that trilogy that they want to kind of find a way to one up in a sense? That sounds malicious, but it's really not. It's very friendly commentary. I've never taken anything in the Scream universe as like, oh, horror movies suck. I don't look at it that way.
Right.
But I am wondering what that thing is, because there's a few things I can think of from especially kills and ends that I would want to critique.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are so many through lines, like you said, the burning house. We have this idea of a mother and a daughter, and kind of, and we, of course, with Scream 7, we don't know all of the ins and outs of their relationship. That's something that I'm very curious and interested to see how it plays out. But we did see that in the trilogy, in the Halloween trilogy, and we got kind of two versions of it, because we had, Laurie and Karen, but we also had Karen and Allison. And of course we had Laurie and Allison. So, Halloween was they were kind of smart to have that, that trio, so we could see the different relationships between these three different generations of the Strode women. So I think Scream will touch upon that. Although, and I've said this before, I have a sense, especially knowing that Kevin has helped with the script, and co-writing, I have a feeling that this could be done really well. I really do. I think that, don't get me wrong, as much as I enjoy, especially the first two films in the trilogy, I think that Nev can really have some wonderful moments in this film with her daughter, and vice versa.
Yeah.
I love that scene where she says that, I want to be strong like you. And it's like, I can imagine that scene will be a lot more heavy in a way, as far as how that conversation starts and maybe how it ends. Maybe that's in the middle of that conversation. But I think that's a great thing, because you have to have heart in a story to really like lift it above the fray. Some of these horror movies that we see, we have no idea who the hell these characters are. We don't know what they want. All they are is just cannon fodder, literally. And that's fine. There's a time and a place for that. But I think what makes Scream such a legacy franchise is that it is a lot more complex, and it does a lot more in general. So anyways, I'm really curious to see that interaction with the mother and daughter. I also, and you kind of touched upon it, I also want to see if Scream can do better. If this is a trilogy, or even if it was just these two for right now. I think that from 2018 to Kills, although I love Kills, there definitely was a dip. And it was more about, I think, consistency in Kills, the story wasn't as polished. Part of that could be because it was really Michael's movie. It was Michael and Haddonfield's movie. So I'm assuming that Scream 8 will do a better job following 7. What do you think? Do you think that that's a possibility, or do you think it's kind of like a wait and see?
I'm not, it's one of those things where it's tough for me to see a bigger Scream story. I think that is a tough thing to, kind of interpret unless we know we know a little more about it from the trailer. So like I have a better idea. I do think if they are trying to set up a trilogy though, I think it would make sense if they were hitting on like kind of themes from David Gordon Green's Halloween, and we're going to carry those throughout like a new Sydney focused thing. Because I mean, like that's literally what they just did with Laurie Strode, right? And I think many, including myself, would argue that I just don't think they handled a consistent storyline with Laurie Strode very well. I don't, it doesn't feel like a complete arc where cause goes to effect in a way that feels natural. Like we see Laurie Strode in a very dark place when we first meet her. It's been 40 years since she was traumatized, and she's still stuck in that defensive, like I Michael could be after me at any point. I have to defend my kids. I have to defend myself. All that. Yeah. And then her kid dies at the hand of Michael Myers. And then what happens? She's magically better, and Halloween ends, and she's just like, everything's great now.
Carving pumpkins and baking pies.
Yeah, nothing in between from kills to ends changed for that character. It only got worse. So I don't see that cause and effect does not work for me at all. And I feel like that to me could be that thing. That could be the thing how we're going to switch it up for Sidney Prescott. She's going to do it better. Just like in my humble opinion, how I think Sidney did back in the original film, I think that's going to be the goal of this one. That's going to give us a good reason to be following this character again, which it's another big thing just about Scream in general outside of the Halloween comparison conversation. It's just, why are we following Sidney again? Could it be to make a big point about David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy and how they kind of dropped the ball on Laurie Strode's character arc?
Yeah, no, they did worse than dropping the ball. They threw that ball in the freaking toilet because, ends, as much as they tried to do something really interesting. And I think I see what they were going for. I just don't think that they were able to execute it well. The time jump, that could have been handled better. We know, because we're super nerdy about it, we know that she went and had therapy and, so forth, and kind of came to terms with Karen's death and how to change her own life, because everything that she had done technically led to Karen's death. So now she doesn't want to push Allison away. She doesn't want to be that rain cloud over Allison. Well, yeah, but the film could have executed that better. It could have shown that better. It could have had us be more on understanding Laurie. And for the people that aren't big followers of it, they wouldn't have been scratching their head so damn much. Like, what happened? So yeah, I do think that Scream will handle that a lot better. It should. If it doesn't, I'd be so shocked, because again, I think you can learn from other movies, and especially other long-standing franchises. I think that Ghostface, like in 5 and 6, and it looks to be like in 7, I think they've intentionally tried to give Ghostface that presence, that the shots that Ghostface is in, how he's framed in the shot. And I think he looks great. And she, I think looks great in 5 and 6, and looks to be the same in 7. So I hope that they can learn some of those specific things. I really do. And I think they will. I hope. I think. Real quick in the chat. Let me jump to the chat. We've got Jen in the house gifting 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Jen. We really appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here tonight and just having the communities back. We appreciate you. And Oliver's jumping on the train as well, coming in with 5 more memberships. Guys, seriously. Wow. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. It definitely helps keep the lights on, as myself and a good friend of mine used to say. Seriously, thank you. Oh my God, look at this. Fate's in the chat. Oh, he would be, wouldn't he? He said that's blasphemy.
His ears were burning. He knew. He just he heard us trying to keep secrets, and he's like, Here he is.
he was paying attention, man. I tried to throw that in real quick. You know, we love you, bro. We love you, brother. He's going to be addressed Monday on the Collective. Well, there you guys go. That's a great tease. Thank you for being here, though, bro. We love you. And for everyone that's a new member, welcome, and definitely show some love to Oliver and Jen. We really, really appreciate it. But let's move into some other stuff. When you think of Halloween, I think especially the first two films did such a great job to like really bring Michael back, to the forefront. I mean, as a fan myself, I thought he was as cool as he had ever been. The way he was depicted, the kills, the physicality, the way that James Drew Courtney portrayed him. I won't really count 5 and 6. I think they did a good job in 5 and 6, but I want to focus more on 7 and possibly 8, and if there's going to be a 9 anytime soon. What do you think are some of the things specifically for Ghostface that they need to do in 7 and 8? Anything that comes to your mind about that?
Well, I think if they're doing like the cliffhanger, like 2-part story kind of thing, because we're hearing more and more about. I think Daniel Rickman just made a post about how 8 is going into production right when 7 comes out, and it's gonna probably be released within a year of Scream 7. That's what the new rumor is. Yeah. If that's the case, this is going to be a back-to-back. It could just be like a duology thing. Like it's like, here's this twofer Sydney story, a 2-part. I made the comparison to Deathly Hallows the other night, for Harry Potter, or like, Breaking Dawn Part 1 and Part 2. I don't know why that's where my mind went, but hey, you got to love some Twilight, okay, baby? Look, that's what it is. But if that's the case, I feel like it could be like a killer from part, A to B, essentially, and we're following one, like a single party of killers in a sense, and we're building off of that, because that's kind of what that trilogy does. Is it shows Michael's like the entirety of his killing spree from start to finish that lasts a couple of years in Haddonfield, even though the first 2 flicks are on the same night. It goes, where ultimately where it goes with ends. I think that's kind of the big thing about like that whole trilogy is it's kind of like 2 parts if you look at it that way. It's kind of like, here's Halloween Night 2018, and then what happens and ends is sort of like a cadence, a way to close it out in a really weird thematic way that works for some and maybe not so much for others. I feel like that's kind of what we're getting ourselves into. This is the Halloween 2018 Kills movie. Thank you. This is the one that's going to hit on the 2018 and Kills conversation. The next one is where we're getting into the Halloween Ends, Stu's living in the sewer kind of vibe and eating rats.
Come on, man.
Look, one more thing. And I'll get off my soapbox. If Stu comes back, I just want him to bite into a goddamn rat. Okay, I'm bringing it back. The Halloween Ends conversation was I want to see Michael eat a rat. If Stu comes back, I want him to live in the sewer, and I want him to bite into a fried rat on a stick. Okay, I've said my piece. Sorry.
Oh my God, you're too funny. Real quick, I want to ask you something about that specific, but real quick too in the chat, we got Mikey coming in, joining the channel membership. Thank you so much, Mikey. We appreciate that. Back in the fold. Awesome. Let's see, who else do we have? We got Erica coming in. Hey, Erica, thank you so much for the super chat. We really appreciate it. PSA for the record, I didn't tell Fate. I joked I would, but it isn't the fact that he came in just make me look so guilty. It wasn't me. I'm innocent.
Those who smelt it dealt it. That's all I'm saying.
Snitches get stitches.
Snitches get stitches.
We love you, Erica. Oh my God, that was great. Woo. So look, if 8 is the ends, okay, let's just kind of put it out there like that. What do you think? I mean, I know we don't know the full story, but how crazy do you think it could get? I mean, because obviously with ends, woo, they really went there. I mean, I remember being in the theater, and once we got about, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes in, the opening was fantastic. The little kid and everything. I was like, wow, okay, let's go. And then, I was like, okay, this is where we're going with it. I understand what they were trying to do. I just don't think it panned out the way they want it to. or the way a lot of us wanted to. But how crazy could Scream get if it was to be a Halloween Ends-esque type of film?
Well, I really think, you know, when it comes to those latter two movies, these are the ones that were criticized the most. Like Halloween 2018, it has its haters, sure, but like when that movie came out, it was a huge hit and it was beloved. And you know, 2 sequels were immediately greenlit, and they're like, do a whole trilogy, fuck it, do whatever you want, David Gordon Green.
Right, here's your money.
yeah. The vibe was totally different after that movie came out. You know, now he's kind of disgraced after, you know, Exorcist Believer and Halloween Ends, you know, were so poorly received, but there was a time where David Gordon Green was like the hot shit. I mean, he was the flavor of the week kind of, you know, thing going on there. But I really think what these movies are going to hit on is like the commentary of kills, I mean, and then the commentary of ends. But what could that look like? I really think it's one of the Ghostface killers is going to still be alive, like somehow, some way, and that's going to influence the next mystery. 8 could be like a bit of a weird swing, but again, finding ways to do it better. That's the Scream. That's just coming from the Scream playbook. You know what I mean? That's what that original did so well. I think that's what 4 did so well too, in comparison to a lot of the remakes at the time.
Yeah.
So now I feel like, you know, the approach is going to be, since it's back with Kevin Williamson again, you know, these are 2 movies that he specifically wrote. We're going to analyze what went wrong in Kills and what went wrong in Ends and try to do it a different way. It may not work. It may be even worse. But the point is that it's going to be approached differently, and we're going to be talking about it and kind of using a little meta commentary the entire time. That's always the thing that gets me so intrigued with a good Scream movie, is like, what are they going to say about what's going on in the space right now? Because I mean, we already know AI is going to be a big thing with this movie too. Like, that's a big talking point in the film world. So like, I don't even think Halloween's going to be the biggest focus. That's just going to be like how your layout and structure is. But then we're building on top of all these other, you know, essentially buzzwords, but that's what Scream does. That Scream is about the modern day, what's going on right now. We're gonna comment on that and have a ton of fun doing it.
Yeah. No, I definitely can vibe out with that, no doubt. Here's the thing to me.
Yeah.
What if for Scream 8, this is something that I've been kind of thinking about as a theory and working on as a video. What if 8, if we assume that it's a follow-up to 7, you know, maybe a cliffhanger of sorts. What if Scream 8 has the killer that has survived? Of course, a lot of us think it might be Stu or what have you. What if 8, or a big portion of 8, kind of looks at things from the perspective of the killer? You know what I'm saying? Ghostface is still out there, and obviously Sydney is still out there, and whoever survived 7, but a huge part of the film, or at least a significant part of the film, whatever that may be, you know, maybe 15 minutes in total, whatever, really kind of moves from the perspective of the killer. You know, like if you think about, and this may be a horrible example, but if you look at something like Infinity War, you know, this is really from the perspective of Thanos. You know, Thanos is like the star of that film. And I'm not saying it'd be to that level, but I'm just giving an idea. What if they did something like that? Because I would actually love to kind of get that type of a film, you know, or at least that type of an aspect to a Scream film. I think it'd be really cool, and it's never been done. They touched upon it with Jill a little bit, and you know, supposedly that was a little bit of the plan. You know, she survives and someone knows, you know, that she's the killer, and what does she do and all of that. But what if they did something like that for 8?
That would be awesome. I would be over the moon about that. I have said since I started covering Scream closely, like I really want to see what it's like from the Ghostface's perspective, and who better to write that than Kevin Williamson? You know what I mean? If that's what we're setting up here, rock on. Oh my God, someone gets away with murder and then we're following them still trying to cover it up or something in part 8. And it would be the irony of the characters think that this person is dead, but we know they're alive and we're following them through a little subplot. it would be a different way to structure a Scream film, but I think you could still ultimately get to the same conclusion. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think that's why something like that could totally work.
Yeah.
Is we could still have that showdown between Sidney and Ghostface, but it's just done a little differently. We know who it is, but the characters don't, and there's still a lot of fun and mystery to be had there. Because we're literally watching as maybe Sydney or Tatum, it thinks everything's fine, and then they go out and about with their new friends. Maybe it's a couple years later, you know what I mean? Maybe it's like literally they're living in the sewer. I wouldn't be against that because again, like I feel like that's just commentary on Halloween Ends, and that might be what we're doing with like a little two-parter here. And they emerge after some time, maybe they think it's okay, I can show my face again or whatever, and then shit goes haywire, and then we got to start killing again. I would love a story like that. That would be outrageous and weird, and that's what I want. A swing. I want a big swing from Scream, and this could be that. This could be something that really gets everybody's attention because we've been on streams a ton lately from people. I think literally the last time you were on the page, we had people say, the trailer kind of looks like, like a Lifetime movie. They don't like the way that the trailer is looking for one reason or the other. And I feel like where that all stems from is from the fact that it looks too familiar. That's probably the biggest criticism I think that even I kind of have is like, it just looks like another Scream movie. And I think some people want them to go outside of that comfort zone and just try something else out. We're it's Scream 7, do something weird. You don't got to do the same thing every single time, especially at this point.
Yeah, no, it's true. I agree. I do want to swing. I do want something to make me kind of tilt my head. No pun intended on Michael, but I want to think to myself, wow, this is shaking it up. I'm not sure exactly where this is going. Now, do you want them to take that swing, even if it meant they could totally fall on their ass like Ends?
I mean, yeah. I'll say I've said this many times about Halloween Ends. I don't think it worked for me, but I'm glad they did it. I'm glad that they made that movie because I think that it does work for some people, and it is a new way to look at Michael.
Yeah.
I don't think honestly, I feel the same way about Curse of Michael Myers. Like, I don't need that movie, but I'm glad it exists. Like it's it's a new way to look at that character. I'm just I guess I'm such a purist when it comes to Halloween. Like, I just love what John Carpenter set out to do with the character. And when we stray, I mean, too far from that, when we go too far away from the idea that we're going to try to explain Michael Myers in any sort of way, it doesn't really work for me. I like the idea that he's this like enigmatic, killer that doesn't really, not everything makes a whole lot of sense or is explained, but it doesn't need to be. Like, that's what's so scary about him. And it's kind of in a way, I feel like that's what went wrong with Ends, but we've talked about that a million times. With Scream 7 or Scream 8, you can reinvent Ghostface. That's the point. The point of Ghostface is to be reinvented with every single film. This is just another way of doing that.
Good point. Real quick, too, in the chat, I want to catch up with these guys because they are working super hard. We've got Perry in the house. What's up, Perry? Good to have you here. Hope you are enjoying the conversation and having the question saying, do you think modern media ruins the newer Scream movies with spoilers? Ooh, that is a fantastic question. Jake, what do you think on that?
It's a great question. What I'll say is that I think that Scream 2 leaked. You know what I mean? Even that leaked online. Since basically the dawn of this franchise, there's been leaks, except for the first one because no one knew what it was.
Right? No one cared.
No one cared then. I don't know. It is a tough thing to say because I do feel like we have a lot of the movie figured out. I'll be honest. There's things I'm not talking about. I won't talk about on stream that I know about the movie now, and I would never reveal these things. And it sucks that some guy from Ohio knows that, outside of the people who worked on it. So yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with that. But at the same time, the entire ending leaked for Scream 2 back in the late 90s. So is it modern media, or is it just the fact that the fans want to know and they're going to do anything they can to get their hands on that information?
Yeah, I hear you on that. It's really, really, it's an interesting conversation. And Perry, I do think that the whole idea of spoilers and stuff like that, I think it's unfortunate. I mean, we even have some groups where that's their main goal is to try to spoil the film, and I think that's too bad. I really do. I think there are some folks that love spoilers. and there are some people that don't care either way. Most content creators that I'm close with, including the two of us, if we knew a spoiler, we wouldn't share it, you know. And even if we see a new movie and we're talking about it, we try to be non-spoilery just to kind of respect everyone in general. But I don't think it's necessarily ruining the new Scream films. Look at Scream 6. I mean, still the box office, you know, so successful, breaking records. I have a feeling that 7 will follow in that path. I think it's going to do very well, and especially if certain things happen, and if it's good and the word of mouth is good, that could happen with 8 as well. So I don't think it's ruining the Scream films. I think for a lot of us that are really a big part of that fandom online, I think for some of us it kind of can be a bummer. But that's also the risk everyone takes. You know, if you're online at a certain point when that film comes out, you should know. Like I'm putting myself out there, and there's a chance I could see a thumbnail, I could see a comment, I could see this or that that's going to give away something that I may not want to know. So, great question.
Yeah. And there's already so much out, like not even, I'll tell you this, I don't know who the killer or killers are. I have no idea about that, but like, you know, there's things that we've talked about that are rumors that are like likely true based on, you know, some other stuff we've seen in the trailer. It's like, oh man, well now I know this, now I know that. And some people might even consider just watching a trailer a spoiler. So it's not, you never really know what you're getting yourself into, I think.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Well, let me ask you this. If you weren't a YouTuber, would you watch trailers like you do before a film? Like, let's just say for Scream 7.
No, I wouldn't watch trailers at all. Like, I'm just gonna be honest. I knowing what I know now, I would, if I wanted to really be surprised and be, you know, have a. I don't know about that, but if I really wanted to fully enjoy something, I would not do, like, if it wasn't my job, I wouldn't do what I do as closely as I do, I should say. I would still talk about movies, but I just wouldn't, I don't know, if I didn't have to watch the trailers for these things, I probably wouldn't. I agree. My buddy Evan from Rockland Graves and I have this conversation all the time, and he like purposefully avoids trailers for movies he's excited for because he doesn't want to see anything. He just wants to be shocked by it the first time he comes around to it. And I won't go on too much of a rant, but the first time I saw Hereditary, the only thing I saw for it was a little like TV spot, like on, I swear to God, I was on Snapchat. And I saw like a little, like, the only thing I saw from it was a body floating up into a treehouse. And I'm like, what is that? That's weird. You know, like, okay, let's check this out. I saw that and I was sold because how weird that image was. And then you see the movie and there's so much more to it. Leading up to that scene is insanity, you know? So that will forever be one of those best theater experiences ever for me because of how shocking and insane that film is. And I'm so glad I didn't know too much about it, you know? Had I known more about it, it might not have hit the same. And I imagine there's movies that like spoilers heavily affect me, I guess is what I'm trying to say to sum this all up.
No. I hear you on that. And, you know, one great thing as a side bar, the great thing about Hereditary, the trailer didn't give it away.
No,
you know, and it wasn't like a 10-second little teaser. It was a trailer, you know, but they didn't give away the meat of what that film was about. And I remember when I watched it, I was blown away. I had no idea we were going on that type of a car ride, pun intended. If you know, you know.
That pole came out of nowhere.
Oh, damn it! What was that, man? When that happened, I was watching it on a late night, dark room, and the movie was giving me the creeps. And when that moment happened, my jaw dropped. It literally dropped, and I was like, "Wait a minute! Did that just hit her? No." And then, of course, the way that Ari Aster did that scene was phenomenal because he didn't just show it. He's, you know, the Peter slammed on the brakes. And the camera's panning up, you know, seeing his face just totally distraught. And even when he started to look in the rear view, you know, the camera slowly coming, and then it pulled away. So you couldn't see it. And it's still like, bro, I gotta know. Did we do what I think we just did? And
well,
what a
dude,
scene.
and then you hear Toni Collette screaming, and then it cuts to the head with the ants on. That's the most upsetting visual. Like I've seen some shit, at this point, but man, that was yikes, dude.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt. Erica, thank you so much for reminding folks in the chat. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. It really helps us out a lot. And also, if you are not subscribed to Killjoy Jake, make sure you guys do that. We've had the link in the chat. We also have the link for Fate Decided, our man, in the chat as well. And we also have the link for our good friend Steven from Craven Something Scary. Make sure that you guys continue to support our brother Steven. Real quick as well, we have another super chat coming in from a man, Jarrett. Jarrett, thank you so much, brother. We appreciate you. Saying, what up, Knight and Jake? What's up, Jarrett? Thank you for being here. We appreciate you, man. Seriously, that was a very, very kind and generous support that you gave us. Jason Dyer as well is coming into the chat. What if the beginning part of the trailer is actually the end?
Oh, no. Guys, we might have lost Night. Guys, shake your phones back and forth if you're on a phone right now, and maybe he'll come back. Oh, geez. I think, well, you know what, Jason, I'll read this for you. I got you, dog. Thank you for the 5. What if the beginning part of the trailer is actually the end of the movie? It's Stu walking away from the house saying it's gotta be fun. This is gonna be fun. I love that. If that's the end of the movie, that's insane. I mean, that would be such a misdirection, because I think all of us are thinking right now that that's the way this thing is going to kick off. But if that's the ending, like look at that like a denouement, you know what I mean? If that's the way we're going to cap this thing off, we haven't even seen the opening scene yet. Who knows who dies in that? I mean, that would just be such an amazing misdirection. They did a decent job of misdirecting us in Scream 5. I think a lot of people will crap on that, but I wasn't 100% sure if Tara was going to live through that or not. I really wasn't. I think the trailer did a pretty good job. There was one scene where it kind of looked like Jenna Ortega was like in a wheelchair or something. It wasn't 100% sure, but I think they did a pretty good job of teasing. Oh my God, Jenna Ortega is the opening kill. Like, of course she is. Of course she's going to be our first kill. So I thought that was a lot of fun. That was really cool, and you got to love it. So I really hope that would be great if they were teasing us and tricking us with this too. I'm thinking about what they did with Scream 6 for a minute here too. They really didn't show us too much of that opening scene. I want to say we didn't really see much of it at all. I think we got a shot of Samara Weaving, Laura Crane, and that was kind of it. But I mean, dude, the twist there, I mean, that's the best part of the whole movie for me for Scream 6 with that opening. That was totally sealed. Like no idea that was coming. The more I talk about Scream 6, the more I'm like, I feel like they knew that there was going to be some sort of leak. I hear there was a killer leak for Scream 6. I thankfully avoided it somehow. But I know a lot of people knew who it was going to be before it happened. I'll be honest, I figured it out. But to me, the biggest shock and surprise of that movie, that it still delivers on a Ghostface reveal because of that opening scene. I never saw that coming. I mean, that's amazing to me. I thought that was a lot of fun. So for me, at least, I think that movie really hit. It still had a Ghostface reveal. It still had some shock to it, and that was thankfully not shown to us in the trailer as well. So I wouldn't be shocked if, point being with all of this is that if Scream 7 is tricking us with something happening in the opening scene, we don't have it all figured out yet. I would love that. That would make me so happy, Jason. Jason, thank you so much for the 5, and we really appreciate it. I can't put any other chats on screen right now. But how we doing out there? What's going on? Jake, what's something from the Halloween trilogy that you want to see implemented into Scream? Hang on. Yo, what's up, dude?
Yo.
Welcome back. I covered you on the super chat, dog. No
I
worries.
heard you, man. Thank you so much. I was like, man, you're cooking. Thank you as well, Jason. You rock. Did Fate have a question I just saw pop up?
Fate asked, what from the Halloween trilogy do we want to see implemented into Scream or Scream 7?
Ooh. That's a good question. I just want Ghostface to be scary and badass. I think, like I said earlier, I think that's one thing that I loved about Kills. They really keyed in on Michael. You know, that was his movie. I mean, I don't expect him to focus on Ghostface like that, you know, because we're going to spend a lot of time with Sydney and the characters and learn these new characters. But I do want those scenes with Ghostface to be like, it'd be so cool if those scenes were like things we've never had Ghostface do, you know, as far as the physicality and the presence. Maybe even some more Roger, you know,
Yeah.
that would be cool too, to get a little bit more Roger. Just something that really just slams Ghostface home to be so cool.
You know, I was talking a lot about Lori a second ago, but I also feel like Andy Matichak is Allison. Like her arc kind of goes off into nowhere at a certain point where I'm just
Right.
wondering like what happened with that. I also hope that they kill it with Tatum's whole story arc. She's filling some very big shoes. It's kind of a big worry I have about this. I mean, we've literally done this kind of character twice. This is number 3. You know, this is like our third iteration of like the character we're passing the torch to. If it was Jill, then Sam, now Tatum. So
Yeah.
I really hope she finds some unique footing, you know, like has a unique voice in this role that again has been kind of done to death already in the franchise. We are beating a dead horse at this point, I feel. So where else can we take that? Like, can we use it to comment on the character of Andy Matichak, like Allison's character, I mean, played by Andy Matichak? I love saying that name, Andy Matichak.
It is
Excellent
cool.
name. Like just 10 out of 10 name. But I think Allison starts in a great place, but where she turns into dumb love interest by part 3. It's just like, what?
Know. I was so irritated by that.
Hated that. I really hope that we can do something better with Tatum Evans. You know, maybe we use that as commentary. I don't know. I'm here for it though. Whatever we can do.
I am too. And the thing about Allison, it just felt like, again, it felt like it was too much of a hard left. She was such a smart character in 2018. I really appreciated that, but different, you know, than Laurie or any other final girl. Like she had her own vibe and style, which I thought was great. In Kills, she was, you know, becoming badass and wanted to lead the charge and stuff like that. And I was fine with that. That's fine. It at least felt like it tracked. But then in Ends, she's resentful of Laurie. There's pieces of that I understand, of course, because you've lost your parents. So you have to blame someone. But at the same time, this isn't like an average thing. This is fucking Michael Myers that obliterated shit. And your grandmother, you'd always been close to her for years. And she was the one that was always saying, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. So I didn't really like that angle. And the love story angle didn't feel like it was too organic either. So I hope they stay away from that type of pitfall with Tatum. I really do. That, you know, that would suck if we see something that just doesn't track. I don't think we will, though. I think I just think that writing a character, I think that they're better suited for it. And plus, that's more of a focus in a Scream film versus a Halloween film.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
So-
100%. His character, like I'll be honest, I have criticisms of some of Kevin's writing, but his characters, I feel like he almost always knocks out. Like that's a very big strength in his department.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And that was a good question, Faith. Thank you, man. Jason also coming back in said, Jake's video game channel rocks. There you go. Hell yeah. Jake, how about, you know, real quick, you know, we like to do this every once in a while, but like what's popping on the video game channel? Like anything that is big that you want to share about it, or maybe something to tease that's coming up, or just anything that you want to share about it?
Well, we just got fully monetized, and I just want to thank you guys so much for that again. Really means a lot. We're about to play the Terrifier game when it comes out later on this month, and I'm definitely excited to get into that. So if you want to see us play some more horror games, which I know we've been goofing off and playing like a bunch of like just weird little indie games lately. But if you want to see us play something a little more franchise oriented, we're getting into the Terrifier game here soon. We're going to play the Halloween game when it comes out next year. So we're definitely going to have some more horror games on the channel very soon here. But I also just real quick want to say Erica purchased a game and gifted it to me on Steam. So we're playing that right now, and it's called Baby Steps. It is a very bizarre game where you play as a 35-year-old man who lives in his parents' basement essentially, and he gets transported into another world and must survive. And we just it's outrageous. We just started it this evening earlier right before this stream, and it's a very weird, funny game. So if you want to have a laugh, If you like, joking around with us on the main channel, you're gonna this channel is just for jokes and silliness. So stop on by. It's a fun channel.
Absolutely, man. And let me just say, because I also want to get to another aspect of your YouTube creating, bro. Sometimes I don't know how you do it. And I've said that about Fate as well. I mean, you guys, it's just absolutely banana pancakes. The level of commitment and the spectrum to which you're spreading yourself, man. Like, I don't know how you do it, man. But as always, and I've said it many times, my hat's off to you. It's crazy. It really is.
Well, thank you so much, man. That really means a lot.
Yeah, no doubt. I really do mean it. And also, I want to give a thanks out in the chat because we also have the link for your films as well, which I want to touch upon your latest one real quick. And I know you weren't prepared for this. It's like, but like we're vibing, like you said.
We're vibing. We're vibing, baby.
Erica, thank you for putting the link in there. Go follow the production page, Human Egg Productions. The newest film, Brahmin Synthetic.
Yeah.
Bro. And I already told you this, but just to talk about it live, that was killer. And I don't know how, I mean, I know because you told me, but just to speak about it live, I don't know how you guys were able to put that together in less than 48 hours. It looks good. It's a great story. It tracks. Like, I was watching them like, yep. Oh, wow. And a good shout out to our good friend Eric, the Bearded Entertainment, and everybody that was a part of the crew. Do you I don't know, man, like, how do you feel when you look at your work or you hear someone say, hey man, I loved your film? I mean, I'm just wondering how you look at it as a creator.
I'm so critical of it. I see all the flaws.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I see all the things that we had to cut or couldn't do.
Mhm.
So I guess it's tough for me to see all that, knowing going through the whole journey. There was for instance with Brahmin Synthetic, there was a whole subplot we had to cut out because it was too long. It was literally killing my darling. It was something that I thought was really cool. Eric came up with it. And I think we executed it really. It was this subplot about a relationship he had with one of the cult members in the thing. And it was sick and we couldn't fit it. It was too long. We had to cut it out. And I was just like, oh, I was bumming. We got to editing it Sunday, like hours before we had to turn it in, and I'm editing this and I'm sitting next to Eric and I'm like, we have to cut it, dude. Like there's no way we're gonna fit that. You had to keep it into a box of less than 7 minutes, and then with credit, you can have credits after that, but it had to be like 7 minutes or less. And I think it's like 7 minutes and 1 second is the short. So like it's literally like, yeah, we were just like, we had to cut stuff. It was a longer submission for sure, but I'm proud of it. I'm very proud of it, but I can't help but see the flaws. Every project I do, I'm just like, we could have done better, is how I'm always looking at it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's what a lot of the people that are very successful at things do. They kind of always say, well, how could I do it better? I'm not satisfied. I want to keep pushing and so forth. But seriously, man, it was really enjoyable. And as soon as I finished it, I was like, damn it, that was nice, because I love those types of stories that, anthology type of stories, and like you said, a big inspiration of VHS, which of course you're a big fan of VHS. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, yeah, I can see those through lines. The performances were great. We were talking about Eric and he was just creepy as all hell. I was like, wow, you guys killed it. Do you think that with the stuff that you cut out and I don't know if there's even a way or reason to do it, but you ever think about having a longer cut version of the film?
Well, I will say this: so for those who don't know, it was for a 48-hour film project here in Cleveland, and we won. We actually, out of I think it was 24 submissions, we were awarded best film, and I'm so thankful for it. It was amazing. And I'm still just I'm really flabbergasted by it, because I remember when we were submitting it, I think we were all like, this was cool and we're proud of it, but I don't know, there's things we don't like about it. So I'm glad it won, and I'm still just shocked and surprised by that. We are toying with the idea of turning it into something bigger. That's all I'll say. I don't want to confirm anything. I don't want to say, hey, we're doing this. I'm just, there's conversations being had about doing more with the concept, because I think it's a cool concept, and I think we could take it to a bigger place if we wanted to.
That's awesome, man. Very, very cool. I'm curious about that, but I'll wait and see as well as everybody else. But that is awesome to hear, man. Seriously. And we got our man Fate, who's just he's just trolling the chat, man. You gotta love him, man. Oh gosh. I'm trying to make up for the betrayal. Yeah, I know. You know how it is, man. Real quick too, we got our man Nightfall celebrating 28 months as a channel member. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate you. Good evening. 28 months of love. Hello, family. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, man. We're doing great. We're just, look, as my good friend here says, we're just vibing, having some fun and enjoying all of you guys here as well. Sarah, thank you as well. She's putting 1,000 links in the chat along with Erica and everyone. Thank you for putting the Patreon in there. I don't talk about the Patreon enough, but definitely another way to support the channel if you'd like to. And we have exclusive stuff we do there. We got Michael from the Movie Bros, the Carbonite Jedi himself. What's going on, brother? Glad to see you and hope you're doing well. It takes two to make Scream go right. It takes two to make the kills go right. What the hell? Oh my God. You're all right, man. Much love, Michael. Kelly's coming in with a super chat. Thank you so much, Kelly. Do we get a Roman flashback about plotting and or after Maureen's death? And isn't Evans Maureen's maiden name? Could that be a nod to honoring the OG? What do you think, Jake? I mean, let's get into Roman and maybe a couple of crazy ass Scream 7 theories.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I would be disappointed if the only way these characters came back was just to give us their voices for like an AI thing. That's kind of like the big rumor going around right now. I really hope we get to see a Roman flashback. I hope we get to see like him physically on screen portraying this character again. Otherwise, why announce that? Why make that announcement? Hey, Roman's gonna be in the movie, guys, when it's just it's his voice from the new Killers. If that's the case, I would be bummed if that's what we get. So I really hope it's a flashback showing exactly this, like what went down with Maureen's death. And could it be it's something we don't know? Like, it would have to be, if we're gonna go through all this effort to show us, the death, tell us something else happened there that we didn't know about, and that's only coming out now 30 years later for whatever reason.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just think, and again, I could be wrong, but I just think if they were coming back, like Roman, well, I don't want to say anything else, but let's talk about Roman specifically, and it is just the voice. That would suck. I mean, I'm just, I don't like to be super negative, but I just think that would absolutely suck. And it would be like, why even announce it? There's no real reason to announce it. Just let us nerds figure it out. And obviously in the film, let's say if it's a scene, obviously with Sydney and that happens, let her acknowledge it. You don't have to like put that out there and make people get all excited. We're going to go see the movie regardless. We would have seen this movie if none of these past characters were going to be in it. So I have a feeling it will be a flashback. And that makes the most sense. If I'm wrong, I'm going to be one irritated Scream fan. I think it should be a flashback. And I do agree with you. And I think we've talked about this. Well, I know we've talked about it either on the collective or each other's channels. I think there should be something that we don't know, something that changes our perspective of the past. And who knows, it might be something that is connected to the present story. Maybe it is something that connects to Sydney, or maybe something she thought she knew and it was wrong. I mean, that would be kind of cool.
if we're going to keep trying to find ways to connect it to the past, then yeah, tell us something that we didn't know. Like, just give us a
Yeah.
new piece to the puzzle that, kind of shocks not only shocks the audience, but also the characters in the story as well.
Right.
I think there's so much effort to be like, you guys remember 96, there's so much effort for that in these new movies. And what are they really doing to build upon that in like 5 and 6, for instance? Like, could 7 change everything we know once again? I mean, even if it comes off as a little soap opera-y, if you're going to take it down that route, do something with it, change it up.
Right, right. I mean, that would be like one of the best reasons to do a flashback, and you win both ways because you get to do the flashback and bring back that character, but you get to inject something fresh into the current story, plus how we perceive the whole franchise. If we're
Yeah.
talking about Maureen, that goes all the way back to the beginning. So if it's something that is fundamentally changed or skewed or what have you, that's a domino effect of the whole freaking franchise. I
Well,
mean,
and knowing that Roman was setting up Billy and Stu, I mean, like, there could have been some weird foul play that night that we just don't know about. I mean, something as simple as I've pitched the idea of like Leslie Mocker could have seen them do it, or knew about Stu the entire time. And what does that say about that character? It's just it's a suggestion is all it is. But it's something like that could really have some crazy repercussions. And I think that's what I want, like, there's a mistake in Roman's plan. There was a mistake with something between Roman and Stu that comes back to bite Sydney in the ass 30 years later. That's what interests me with bringing these characters back. That could be a fun new direction.
yeah, and it would give a reason for them to come back. It would give a reason for the flashback. It also would add mystery to the current film and possibly the previous films. It might be something where it makes, people like us and people in this live chat say, "Shit, man, I got to go and watch the back movies again."
Right. And that's that's what I want. I don't want it to just be like, hey guys, Roman's on screen again.
Right.
That's just putting butts in seats, and that's boring. That's what every corporate franchise is doing these days. Give me a reason to go back and watch Scream 3 again. Give me a reason to go back and watch the original again.
Yep. I absolutely agree. That would be a hell of a lot of fun. It really would, man. Real quick too, in the chat, do you guys are talking about Arby's? What the hell is going on, man?
I'm just hungry now.
I know. Don't get me hungry, man. RJ's here saying, I want to get Will Smith from Men in Black and get Halloween Ends neutral. It's out of my mind. Oh, that's too bad. Oh my gosh.
If you figure out how to do that, Richard, take me with you. Like, just let's go together, and we'll do it. We'll do it at the same time.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. So if we talk, and we've been all over the place, but let's think about 5 and then 6. When you look at what they did with 5 and 6, and then you look at what Halloween did with 2018 and Kills, how do you compare them? Like, who was able to do it more successfully?
Oh, that's really tough, because I think I have issues with Kills. I don't think it's a perfect movie. Halloween 2018, I think I definitely like better, but I did enjoy. I don't know. I kind of weirdly feel the same way about 5 and 6 and Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills. I think they're very similarly flawed in the sense that they're jam packing their movies with a lot of stuff. Yeah. And I think when you do that, like, there's just going to be some stuff that works and some stuff that doesn't in a really general sense. But like Kills even more so than Halloween 2018. Like, there's more stuff in Kills than there was in 2018. And I kind of feel the same way about Scream 6 to Scream 5. Like, the relationship between those two films is very similar. Like, it's like we're just trying to add more and more and more, when I think if those films just slimmed down to the best things that they're doing, those movies would have been so much better for it.
Yeah, no, agreed. The one difference, of course, is that as much as 6 wanted to expand, I think it almost fell under the weight of its own ambition, because, again, with New York, there were a couple of moments, Subway and, some shots outside, the bodega running on the street. But man, I kept thinking to myself, I was hoping that we'd get a little bit more, maybe I don't know, maybe that bodega scene framed a little bit differently. Maybe there was more of a chase down the street, or maybe through an alley. I know Samara was in an alley, but that was quick, and that was right in the beginning. I just felt as though they weren't able to really cash in on that possibility. Now they did it as well as any other film, most notably Jason Takes Vancouver. All right. So I give them all the credit in the world, but I think those are the types of things that were leaving me a little lackluster. And of course the kills, let's kill some people. Halloween Kills, at least we killed a lot of people. We killed Karen. What are we doing here? And I cared about Karen in that movie, which was a big thing.
Yeah.
Similarly, though, I think Annika's death was kind of, and I know Fate's probably in the chat grimacing right now. I didn't want to see her die, and when she died, I felt kind of bad. I was like, oh man, that sucks.
I will admit, though, I will admit Karen's death is way more emotional in Halloween Kills. I mean, I definitely there's just more, you simply spent more time with Karen in Halloween Kills than you did with like Annika. Annika, I think they did just enough for me to care about Annika. You know what I mean? Like they definitely could have done more. I think Fate has a point there, but I think they did just enough to give me a really solid like halfway through kill with Annika. I don't think it's meant to be the big emotional death scene. Like I think Gale is kind of like that whole scene is supposed to be that, but we don't. They try to have their cake and eat it too. I think every single problem I have with 6 comes down to that. There's a lot of like, well, we're not gonna do this, but we're gonna do this at the same time, and then it kind of contradicts. So I think that's kind of the big problem with 6, but. I think here's my weird thing. I think that 5 and 6 are more I don't even know if I want to say that. I think 5 delivers on what I want from a typical Scream movie in the sense that here are some killers that have a good motive, and I think at least one of them is shocking. And like that's all I want from a good Scream reveal. 5 delivers that. And Halloween 2018, I think, delivers a pretty solid Michael Myers movie. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's one of my favorite sequels, I think, without a doubt. Kills and Scream 6 both failed in some way, but they also swing for the fences and do some weird shit that works for me. Right. So I think that's kind of that's my weird thing. I just have very similar feelings about them. Which do I like better? I've definitely seen Screams 5 and 6 more than I have Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills. So maybe that says something.
Yeah, no, I mean, rewatchability is a huge thing, man. A lot of people, that's a thing. Like if they really dig a film, they'll rewatch the hell out of it, and I think that helps the whole fandom. I have my movies that I watch all the time, and those are the ones that are, they're always in a rotation and at the front of my mind. So rock on, man, rock on. Real quick too, in the chat, Jason is still doing a lot of work in there. Thank you so much, brother. Our chat deserves to know from you both. Does evil really die tonight? We need Samantha to team up with Stu in part 8. Let's go. Phantasm remake is coming. There you go, man.
I need a Phantasm. A Phantasm remake would be insane. Like, who cares? Yeah, fuck it. Let's make that movie.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. Because that movie, the mythology is so. Dude, I mean, I know we've talked about it before. I won't rant, but the mythology is so cool. The tall man as a villain. I mean, it's awesome and it's creepy. But evil died and Halloween ends.
Not tonight. It didn't die tonight, but like a couple years later. So
that's right.
That's just not as good of a catchphrase, though. Evil dies a couple years later. No, just doesn't hit as hard.
Evil dies eventually. Okay. So, Nightfall coming in again. We got introduced to Maureen's sister in Scream 4. I think there could be another member of Maureen's family introduced. I'd love to see more connections to Maureen. That's a great question, man. And thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate that. Jake, do you think, I kind of have a feeling of what you may be thinking. Do you think we need to pull away from the whole family thing rather than going further into the cave?
Yeah. I mean, yes. My thing is that I like Scream 4. I've talked about how much I love Scream 4 so much, but my favorite thing about Jill is not that she's related to Sidney Prescott. If she wasn't related to Sidney at all, I think in a weird way, I think I would like that movie even more than I do. I don't think it's necessary. I think you could literally just write that she's somebody in Woodsboro who just happens to be close to Sidney. There's just, you could find a way to write that where she's not family. It's easy to say that she's family and that's how you immediately have that connection. Sure. But you could have written that another way. It didn't have to be the fact that it was someone immediately related to her. I do think that just the family stuff in Scream has gotten repetitive. And like at a certain point, is this franchise just going to keep coming up with more and more family members that we've never met or heard of before? You know, it's just, I think it's going to get a little ridiculous at a certain point. And maybe it already has. And I really don't want Scream to collapse in on itself.
Right.
You know, like where it's just like we were once the franchise that made fun of other series for doing these things, and now we're doing them. You know, it's just Scream is such a hard franchise to continue for that reason. You have to have the story locked in and just make it work on all facets so that it doesn't contradict what came before, but also is working in tandem with what's going on in the current space right now.
Hell yeah, man. Well said. And I agree with you 100%. I just think that there's so many more interesting things we could do and people that we could have in the Scream universe with better motivations as well. Because at this point, you're talking so many years ago that Maureen was killed and Sydney was attacked, and multiple times that Sydney's been attacked. And so all of a sudden, we're going to have, you know, a third cousin's brother's aunt come out and, yeah, well, you know, I mean, I just
have we never heard of that person before, you know?
Right. Now, you know, to fall back and play devil's advocate a little bit, you know, to kind of lean in what Nightfall is saying. I mean, and there's a lot of families that have a lot of different family members. Obviously, I have a huge family, so that aspect of it is realistic, but I think it should have been something that was, you know, featured earlier in the franchise. You know, the only way I could see something like that working is, well, and I don't even know if I want to say working, but if it's a family member, you know, maybe a distant relative that didn't even know they were related to Sydney, and it was revealed to them, and whatever their motivations may be. I'm not saying they're a killer or a friend or helper or whatever, but I'm just saying, you know, that would be the only thing that would make sense. Because if you're already a family member to Sydney, I think you would have been in her life way before now, you know?
Yeah.
Just story wise, you know, I know in reality we have tons of family members, but I'm talking about in the movies. I think that they would have been involved a lot earlier than now. So,
well, and they are finding ways to expand the family element of it. And admittedly, I'll give Scream 7 this. It is different, you know, to show Sydney having a family now. She has, you know, children. That is different than where we came from before, but it is still just like, why are we getting into Fast and Furious territory with how obsessed with family we are, right? With this franchise. I don't know. I don't know.
Diesel is about family. I mean, of course, on the other side of that, now maybe if we explored Mark's side, you know, what if like his parents are helping to take care of the kids or babysitting or something like that, you know, I could probably deal with that a little bit better, you know, because we haven't been around Mark. So anyways, it's a rabbit hole though.
Oh God, it could be. I didn't even think about that. Is it going to be like Mark's brother or something who's the killer? No.
Mark's brother.
Oh God.
Timothy shows up in the film for a quick moment just to say it, then pieces out.
You better knock on some wood right now, dude. That's gonna be the twist. It's Mark's brother. Oh
Right.
man. Oh jeez.
Nightfall, thank you so much, man. Seriously, we appreciate you, and thank you so much for the support and love. Oliver, holy crap! Now we're coming up with some crazy theories. Keep sending them in, guys. What if Sydney's dad knew his wife was cheating, found out about Roman, and helped in killing Maureen? Holy nutballs. Wow. Dude. Could you imagine? That would
Is
be
he
so
even still
crazy.
alive? Like, we don't even know what happened to him, I feel.
We don't. That's true. Poor Neil.
Poor Neil.
Yeah, right. Because that what was it, the deleted scene that talked about him passed away? That's not
what
canon.
it is, yeah. Yeah, right.
So he's still alive, or at least put it this way, we haven't had a confirmed death canon wise. That would be crazy. That would be absolutely crazy. Now, I could see. Now, here's a good point. Let me work with you on this, Oliver. If we have the Roman flashback and there's some type of conversation that is painting the picture of things back then before Maureen is killed, and we find out something about Neil. Maybe he did know, but I don't see him trying to help. But maybe something again that changes our perspective a little bit, that could work. I'd be down with that. Maybe he did know that she was cheating. Maybe he confronted, Billy's dad, and something happened or whatever. Maybe he, I don't know, hit him with a car or something, trying to kill him, but didn't succeed. Something to make us look at things differently. I could roll with that. What do you think, Jake?
So then Billy and Stu didn't know about, there's so many layers to that original now. So Billy and Stu didn't know that and kidnapped Neil, who in turn, like, Neil made all this happen, but they yet got kidnapped through all of, like that. There's a lot of insanity here. That would suck. But I guess that's what you get if you're, a dickhead who does something like that. So maybe Neil deserved to be in that closet for like the whole weekend or whatever.
Oh my God. I love it. I love it. Let's see. Brother of a certain age in the house. What's up? Saying Jason Takes Vancouver is hilarious. Yeah, it is, man. Thank you so much for being here. Mayanne putting in the link for our good brother Steven, saying, for more Scream content, you can always count on the one and only Stu Train Conductor. Hell yeah, man. Preach it, preach it. So much content on Steven's channel. You guys, if you're a Scream fan, do yourself a favor. Hang out there for a while. So many cool videos and live streams. So much fun. A lot of the things that we do now that we're still doing together and as the collective. I mean, Steven had so much of that on his page exclusively. So check him out. Jason's still on fire. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate you. Top 3 Nightwatch Zone shows we need. Number 1, top 10 super chat clips. Number 2, Return of the 80s and 90s cartoons. Epic. Number 3, top Friday the 13th side characters we want back in the Friday the 13th TV series. Hell yeah, man. That would be fun. Let me ask you this, just to kind of piggyback on Jason for a second. The Friday 13th TV series, do you think it's going to be good? Are you in the middle, or do you think it's going to flop?
I have a little more faith in it based on the cast. I mean, Linda Cardellini playing Pamela Voorhees. Okay, yeah. Shit, I'm sold on that. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I am worried that. Well, I guess I'm not as worried now, knowing a little more about the casting behind the scenes and stuff. But I just feel like if we're doing a Friday the 13th series after all this time, if we don't have Jason, kind of in the forefront, I feel like fans might be a little disappointed. I don't know if Friday the 13th fans want a more. I'm just talking majority too. I don't know if the majority of Friday the 13th fans want a more complicated backstory for Pamela of all characters. I think there's definitely people who do, but I'm just talking majority, and we haven't seen. I think Halloween 2018 did such a good job of bringing us back to the vibes of that series. Like, it's just it's a typical Michael story. It's not doing too much crazy out the gate. But then we got into the weirder stuff as we got through that franchise. Kills was a little more just, let's have Michael kill people the entire movie. Who needs a story? And then Ends is a little more like, we're getting really weird with it. We're going to do some other more outlandish things. I feel like starting your franchise renaissance with such a weirder, Pamela backstory kind of thing, that might not, I don't know, that might not work. But Friday the 13th is such a unique series. I mean, we didn't even really have the iconic killer until part 3 in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? So it's like, maybe this is a good way to return to it. Friday the 13th is a unique case. So it shouldn't be handled the same way as a Halloween or, some of its other competitors. I don't know. We'll see. I hope it's good though.
I hope it's good too. I really do, because we've been waiting for this thing since 2009, and it's absolutely crazy, especially with the success that Halloween had, and obviously Scream as well. This is the time to do it. Terrifier, Black Phone. It's like, bro, let's bring back our boy from Jersey. You don't want to wait too long. So, Jason, thank you so much for that super chat. We appreciate you so much. And geez, he came back in just to say, if Evil died tonight, that's too bad. We love you, man. Seriously. Sarah as well saying, if Jason gets all that, I better get my Equalizer trilogy video. Sarah, we'll have to touch upon the Equalizer for for a video or record or something like that because I love it too. I really, really do. Thank you so much. All right, guys, we're winding down here. Jake, I know you're up against the clock. Do you want to share what you got coming up for yourself personally? Because I'm excited for you because I'm going to hopefully be doing the same damn thing either tomorrow or Saturday morning.
I'm going to see Keeper. Hopefully tonight. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see it. There's a lot of good movies coming out this weekend, so definitely make it out to the theater if you can.
Yeah.
Keeper, The Running Man. I'm going to try to see these in the next couple of days.
Ooh.
Really hyped up for that. And I'll say one more thing and I'll shut up. I have a huge video, like a gigantic video, way bigger than I thought it was going to be, dropping on the Creep Tape Season 1 tomorrow on the YouTube channel. So please check that out. I've put an ungodly amount of work into it. And it's a good one. It's a banger.
Hell yeah, man. No, I love Creep so much. Tell you, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So I'll be enjoying that too. Rachel, what's up? Good to see you. She's afraid to see Scream in space. I think we all are. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. And Jack, wow, I was just about to say. All right, this is the last couple ones. And Jake, I know you got to go. I'm just going to hit these real quick. Oliver is saying, do you guys remember the original Friday the 13th TV series? It wasn't even about Jason. It was more like a really bad X-Files. I do remember it, and I actually have the whole series on DVD. I do. Yes. Thank you so much, man. And lastly, Jack in the house. What's up, Jack? Saying I was in the other chat and wondering why you haven't mentioned Megan teaching them a thing or two about how to make a good movie. Oh, my God. He holds on tight to Megan. You got to love the consistency. Much appreciated, brother. Much love to you. All right, guys, we're going to wind down, and we appreciate you hanging out with us for another episode of The Kill Zone. Thursday night, next week, will be on Jake's channel. Make sure to check out what he drops tomorrow for the Creep Tapes. I'll be back at some point soon, and we got the collective on Monday. You guys know we're always working hard, or at least trying to, but we appreciate all the support that you guys show us.
Damn, Faith.
Oh,
my God.
We love you, bro. All right. So listen, guys, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to Jake. Make sure you subscribe here to the Nightwatch Zone. Fate Decided, Craven Something Scary. We love you a lot, and we will catch you guys next time. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Nightwatch. Peace.